What's up, it's your boy Mehka. I finally got somebody I get a chance to speak with. Actually, I got a chance to meet with him face to face last year in New Orleans. I really should have took my opportunity then to do the interview, but no, it's nothing here on there. Got my boy Tihyann Bryant. Ty, what's good, man?
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Finally,
good living life, man. If you can tell, he got the whole Jersey vibe in him, man. Like, this is an East Coast dude. I'm from Boston. This is an East Coast dude right here. Like, you can hear it. Oh, he got it on his arm too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Jersey in the building. What's up? What's happening?
What's up, man? No, we here today because I want to get some background. I want to get you to talk a little bit about Roll Up Life, which is a brand that's quickly emerging on the East Coast scene as far as a delivery service. But not just that, your voice in the space in general, you and Precious, the presence y'all have up there is becoming amazing, and your influence is starting to grow by the day. So I'm like, this might be the perfect time to try to get this conversation started.
Yeah, absolutely. So, man, I'm here. I'm excited. So let's whatever we got to do, let's do it.
Let's do it, man. All right, well, first thing, man, tell us about yourself, because I feel like you have a background in sports. You came through from the football side, correct?
I did. So, I started out at Boise State University. Let me slow down. I went to college at Delaware State University first and foremost.
HBCUs.
Yeah, I started off playing my football days there at Delaware State. I fell in love with politics at a very young age, so I majored political science once I got to school as a freshman. The reason for that is my older cousin, RP to my cousin, but they were always in and out of trouble, and I just wanted to make sure I was always readily available if ever they needed a lawyer. So I was decent enough to earn a spot on the Delaware State football team, and Delaware State was a lot of things. It taught me a lot about myself. It taught me a lot about my goals and how severe distractions can be if you're not like aligned with things going. And I got in some trouble at Delaware State, not only as an athlete but as a young student. And I was in a really dark space in my life at that time in my freshman year. My grandmother, who I've always lived with, had her first of 2 strokes while I was in school. So you can imagine, I'm thinking the worst, the utmost worst. My grandma lives with me right now, unfortunately, but just putting myself back in that position, I'm always thinking the worst of everything. And I had to come back home to go to local community college for a while my grandmother was recovering. And in there, I wound up back on the West Coast to finish out my college career at Boise State, chasing football again, ironically. I played well enough in junior college to receive a spot, but in the transferring in process, one of my grades didn't transfer over. So there was my athletic career just like that, like in the diff, is gone. So now I'm in Boise, Idaho, and I have to figure out what the hell I'm going to do with my life. It's one of the most depressing phases I've ever been in, because like, you think about it, at that time I'm 19, 20, about to turn 21. And I've been a football player my entire life. So now it's like, what am I going to do to offset everything that I've just been working the last 18, 19 years towards, right? I'm only in college because football got me here, right? Like, granted, I've always been smart, always been an A student, but school wasn't my drive for going to school. You know, maintaining, being a student athlete was my drive for going to school. And from there, I started to dive into the cannabis industry. I've always sold drugs here and there. I've always had a little tech detail with me here and there. Like I said, my older brothers were a part of that. So I don't want to say hard drug, you know, I always sold cannabis here and there, you know, just to make a quick buck, you know. And I get to my junior year, my senior year, and I turned 21. And I'm finally able to go, you know, purchase cannabis legally. I'm out there in Idaho. We take the drive over to Oregon. It wasn't real far. And you taking that drive, and it's like, on the whole way, I'm like, yo, there's no way this fucking legal cannabis industry is actually here. And Black and brown people are just sitting in jail still. Like I said, my degree is in political science. So I knew all of the very disturbing statistics, like almost down to the specifics on how New Jersey's prison population is the most racist in America per capita. We have the highest gaps of Black and brown people versus white people in prison in America. So things like this were always plaguing my mind as I'm like, yo, there's no fucking way that there's a legal cannabis industry. And then you're going to see it, and it's just like, not only how do I get into it, like that was the easy part. How do I get into it? The easy part. How does this shit work was the thing that had me like, I'm glued to it. So when you take that first trip to the dispensary, right? And it's like, all right, this line's long as hell. How can I create a company that solves lines problems, right? And then I get in there, I'm just like, yo, I wonder how this product got from A to B. Like, I wonder if there's like special vehicles to use, and like just all of these little things were twisting around in my head. I immediately, like the same day we get from our we go and purchase from the dispensary, on the ride back, because I didn't drive, I'm immediately looking at what's going on in Jersey's cannabis industry, right? Like, what does Jersey look like? And I found out about Jake Honig and the Jake Honig Act. I found out about the original 6 ATCs here in Jersey, the alternative treatment centers, which it was only 6 dispensaries in Jersey meant to service like 40, 50,000 people. Like, so it was just like, yo, is this it? Like, did I just stumble upon some shit that's about to change my life? Then I called my older brother. Well, no, he called me rather one day from jail, and I started talking to him about the idea. But of course, what he's seen and the thing that he's going through, it just didn't sound normal to him. Like, bro, don't do that. You're just going to end up right here next to me. Yep. And being, like I said, being from East Orange, New Jersey, that's all you see. Fortunately, we're from a Black town, so it isn't too much racist policing, but nonetheless, the policing exists. At the end of the day, the war on drugs still ravaged through our communities. So explaining that to my brother was just so very far-fetched. But I knew that we had, I knew that there was something there. And if I could figure out what type of business to put there, like what type of thing that would bring all of that together, all of not only the logistics, the distribution, the technology for consumerism, but the assets of advocacy, and how important it was to make sure that people that look like me are given a fair chance, or the laws that are coming up, the expungement laws and things of that nature. If I could figure out a way to just bundle this all into one unique company, that it would thrive. And so far, so good, right?
So far, so good, man. You know, it's crazy. I like that story because I used to hoop back in the day, man. And I had the whole issue. And actually, this happened to me when I was in high school, where me transferring from a prep school back into the public school system, the transfer didn't cross over, and I was stuck. I didn't know what to do, because for this whole time, all I did was play basketball. I'm like, I don't even know what to do in school other than play ball. It's a hella confusing state. So I'm glad that you kept your mind focused and you got yourself on a track that where you are right now, versus where a lot of other people just would have fell off. Like, I see people who are still chasing career dreams of basketball and football to this moment because they never thought about what else to do in their life. So congratulations on that. I was listening to my boy Tihyan's show, the Cannabis Report, the Cannabis Diversity Report. And I was listening to your interview, and I thought that you had a crazy story about how roll-up life came to your mind. And I'm like, this boy was smoking a blunt and jumped out of a car. Like, tell me the story about how the idea of roll-up life came to be.
All right, yeah. So the official idea of Roll Up Life, I finally get back to Jersey. I'm not in Jersey no longer than, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 days, right? My cousin finds out I'm back home, because I really didn't tell nobody I came home because of the disappointment of why I was home. I'm no longer a football player, right? Like, it's like, it was kind of like, I don't want to say embarrassing, but it was really like hard. And
it's hard to explain to other people who that's all they knew you of. That's hard to explain.
It was really hard. So I don't want to say I was avoiding people, but like my closest friends, my cousins, I just didn't really want to be around, because I know that's question one. Why are you home? You know what I'm saying? Like, why didn't you play this year? So we link up, and we're in the car, we're talking. I roll a blunt, I pass it to him, we back and forth. He's rolling up, we matching, whatever. And my trap phone is just buzzing off the fucking just and it's annoying, because like I just said, I just got home and I just turned this phone on today. Like, I was in Boise last week. So how the fuck does this many people know I'm home right now? Like, damn, like who is y'all buying? I appreciate that y'all want to buy y'all weed from me, but who the fuck was y'all buying weed from before I came back? Call him right now. Like, call him, leave me alone. I'm just trying to get my life back together. Like, I'm trying to figure life out. And after about like 10 minutes of just sitting there, and that shit just was just like, yo, I need a way to optimize this shit. And I'm like, looked at my cousin. My cousin looked at me like, "Are you good, cuz?" I'm like, "Yeah, yo, I need an app." And he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about, Tihyann?" Right? Like, he's like, "Yo, what are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Juice, bro. I need an app. Like, Juice, we need an app. We need an app. We need an app. An app will make this better. An app. So we passing the blunt back. And I'm like, "No, I can't even smoke this no more. Like, I gotta go do this. Like, this needs to get done right now." And I jump out the car. He had, like, mind you, like, we only smoked the blunt that I rolled. Like, he was matching. So he had a whole different blunt. We was about to play tennis. We call it playing tennis. Serves up. You match me, I match you. You know what I'm saying? So we was ping-ponging back and forth. And my cousin's lost. Like, my cousin's lost. Like, he's lost. He can't believe I got out the car. He's, cuz, come on, come back, bro. You just got home. But I'm like, yo, I'll see you later. So I come back upstairs and I spend the entire day of 5. I don't know when the fuck I came out the house again, but I spend the entire day of 5 coming up with the initial shitty ass roll up life plan, right? Like the initial plan for roll up life. I called it roll up life and all of that. So give myself some credit for that. But you know, the initial plan was just the initial plan, how we gonna make it work and things of that nature. And before I put any thought into it, I make this and then I run around the corner to Precious house. Like, so I live on this street, Precious live on this street right here. Like, so I run around the corner to Precious house. Like, Precious, I need you to help me do this, and this. Precious looks dead at me and says, "Tihyann, get the fuck out of my face." Get the fuck out of my face. You need to go figure out what's going on with football. I'm going to Columbia for journalism school. And I'm like, what she said, or go to law school. What's the point of you wanting to do all of that and not go? Like, no, cannabis. And you know, she's coming from an African family. So she really understood nothing of it outside of she gets her weed from me. That's it. Like, I'm her weed man. Like, she when she want me, she called me. Anything else is out of her purview. She does not want to work into it. So now that's now it's like, fuck. Do I really, is this worth it? Or like, am I really tripping? Like, do I need to get back on? Like, am I just trying to find the easy way out? Well, let's just say, no, the fuck, it wasn't easy and it definitely was worth it. So, going from that point, it's like, all right, everybody around me, my mom, my grandma, my best friend Precious, my cousin, everybody is looking at me like, yo, you're a fucking weirdo, bro. This is not gonna work. Like, this is not, who do you think you are? You think, and then what made it even crazier is like people used to say there's no way they're letting a black man do this, right? That's something my dad used to tell me a lot, honestly. Like, my dad, when I first presented it to him. So I didn't get anything receptive about roll up life from anybody. So it's like you start to second guess yourself a little bit, like, damn, is it worth it? Well, fuck yeah, it was worth it. I ain't give a fuck what nobody was talking about at that point. At that point, I'm like, I will fuck everybody, excuse my language, because it's all love. These are my closest friends and family. But it's like, I needed one person and I didn't have no people. I had myself and my grit and that resiliency. And I also just opened up 40 hours a week of my time not being an athlete. You know what I'm saying? So taking that and starting to dive into the different research pockets. On my Google search, I found Roz. I found Roz McCarthy and Minorities For Medical Marijuana way back before I was the vice president of the chapter. Like, that's how far I came. Like, I'm the vice president of my chapter now. And Roz was thrown away by the complexities of how I wanted to execute cannabis delivery. Not just cannabis being a delivery service, but the multitude, the multifaceted ways I wanted to execute it and being in control, complete control of that sales cycle. So Roz took me under her wing, and for about 2 years, I'm just going to any boot camp Roz invited me to. She always paid for it for me or comped the ticket, whatever. However she can get me in the room, Roz got me in the room. And I always try to tell people this whole journey for Roll Up Life feels really fake, but it feels like I was the chosen one for it because like some of these stories just sound made up sometimes. And Roz has a boot camp for medical cannabis licensing here in Jersey at Seton Hall Law School. It was like a 3-day boot camp. And I was like 8 hours a day and shit like that. I mean, I've been stressing, but taking every note I can. And on the last day of the boot camp, something else that sounds like straight out of a scene from a fucking movie, like Disney couldn't have wrote it no better than this happened. So Hope Wiseman is the guest speaker, right?
Yeah.
She's the guest speaker at this boot camp. And after she gives her speech or whatever, you know, everybody's rushing to talk to her, introduce themselves to her or whatever. And I go talk to her. I say hi, let her know what I'm trying to do. Wasn't really nothing much of it. But the reason why this magic happened is because Hope needed help getting to the train station. And I'm like, yeah, I'm on my way there right now. We can walk. So nothing of it again. I walk into the train station, show her where the board at. And I guess we got there a little late. She missed her train and she needed to kill 2 hours. So I'm walking off, about to go catch mine back home. And I just hear this faint, hey, hey, hey. Turn around, it's Hope. And she's like, yo, I missed the train. Like, I got like 2 hours to kill. Is there anywhere we can go get a drink and talk? And I'm like, fuck yes. It's one upstairs. Like, I'm like, yo, it's a bar upstairs. So now I got a unfiltered conversation with Hope Wiseman for 2 hours about the ins and outs of the cannabis industry. And bless her soul, Hope was very raw with me, like very raw. She let me know her ups, she let me know her downs, she let me know the things to watch for. She started introducing me to the idea of predatory situations. She acknowledged my growth and my grind. Hold on, excuse me. Hello? Hi, what's going on? Yeah, I'm in the middle of an interview right now. All right. I believe that was to here.
Bro, I thought that was fate calling. Like
I believe that was tired. But so anyway, so in this conversation, Hope is telling me about capital raising, how people are not necessarily invested in your idea, but they're invested in you and with the things that they're seeing in you. How can you set yourself aside from your competition? Because you're not going to be the first person to try to do cannabis delivery. You're not going to, if you get it off the ground, you're not going to be the last person to try to execute it. And people will use whatever you've done to try to base their next thing off of that. So she was just giving me all of these little details about Roll Up Life. I mean, about not just Roll Up Life, about the cannabis industry. And she said, with this inside scoop, the next time I see or hear from you, I expect you to be a lot further. And she gave me her phone number and said, whenever you need something, just give me a ring. And that was something that put me along the line of like a mindset, like, all right, I just got a super in, and now I got a major contact that will talk me through things. Fortunately, she's one of my advisors now. She's on our advisory board. And like just that little start of just going through all of these little nuances, going through all of these different meetups, fine tuning the idea, losing pitch competitions, like people telling me this idea stinks. Like it was so much to get us to the point where we're at right now, so much to try to be comfortable over. But being secure in the idea, being secure in what I believe that what I was seeing was something that definitely helped me get to this point right here. Most definitely.
Well, applause, man. You talk about a trip that actually is fate, man. Because Roz, I call Roz the godmother of Black cannabis, man. Like she done took so many of us under her wing and helped us kind of get a good navigation point. And even the conversation you just mentioned about Hope, like all this is really what you were supposed to do. And clearly it happened in real time. Like you was here at those moments for a reason, bro. Like seriously. That is a show. That's a TV show right there.
Right, like it felt like Disney wrote a cannabis movie starting me. Like it just felt like everything started to roll.
Yeah, nah, it wouldn't be Disney. We gotta get Tyler Perry involved. But yeah, that movie's gonna happen. like that's a real life movie, man. How did Precious come into the play?
All right, so I'm like 2 years, 3 years down the line, and marketing is just not my thing, and I'm not the biggest people person at all. And one day I was just fucking fed up of being alone. Like I'm just not having this shit. I can't do this by myself no more. So she was on the clock, like literally on the clock, and I barged in her office, barged in there with my laptop. I opened the Roll Up Life pitch deck, the one that we had at the time, showed her my team, showed her my lawyers, showed her the people that was involved, and I said, I need you to market this. I need you to market this. I'm not taking no, I'm telling you I need you to market. Now she just wanted me out her office. So, wanted me out her office. So Precious says, okay, whatever, I'll do it. And as she started asking me more questions and I'm answering the questions and showing her the things that I've done so far by myself and what I need her to market, how I need her to speak, because I don't really like speaking. Public speaking really isn't my thing. I feel as though like, I don't know why I get a little nervous and I be chopping up my words sometimes and my thoughts get a little jumbled, but whatever, that's not Precious. Like my whole life, Precious was the one on the stage. If we had to do an announcement in school, Precious was on the announcements. Like Precious was the voice, right? Like Precious was just always the voice. And I knew that Precious would be a great voice in cannabis if she could get it. If she just had the one person to push her there. So the day I walked into her office and I showed her everything, and then she just started, like, she right there in front of me just Googling stuff to make sure what I'm saying is true. And as she's starting to see, oh, this really happened, that really happened, she's like, okay, I'll help you market. That's it. That's all she came on originally to do. And I'm like, fine, that's great. I'll take that. And as we started to get more and more into the thing, I needed her to do more. Like I needed her to do more. I didn't just want to keep like stressing myself out handling all of this while she's just doing marketing. And as she started to take her own deep dive, I'm like, Precious, you're my number two. Like I need you to be here. Like I need you to be my chief operations officer. And she first off, like she couldn't really believe that we were really starting a company, or like I started a company and I'm asking her to be a part of it. But like the fact that she was doing it with one of her best friends, she was just like, yeah, like once she's seen how hard I actually work. But nobody, like people heard about Roll Up Life, but nobody really got to see the actual day-to-day behind the scenes of it. Like you only see what I post on Instagram, and I barely do that. Precious does all of that shit now. So you know it was like in the time where I'm begging Precious to do the marketing, there's barely any Instagram posts and shit like that coming out from me or whatever. And as she came on and she started to get into the swing of things, and I introduced her to people here, introduced her to people there. She started using her journalism connections to meet even more people on the cannabis side, and it started to just blow. And I always tell her like that she wonders why I don't like talking and stuff like that. And I always tell her like I have no idea who the CEO or founder of Progressive is, but I can tell you Flow sells me insurance. I can tell you that Flow sells me insurance. Well, Precious, you're my Flow. You know what I'm saying? She's my Flow. And after 3-4 long years of begging her to come join, she finally joins as my co-founder. And from there, when she came in and settled down, things just started to, on the media side, balloon. And because of how I handle the actual business side, all we needed was our buzz to catch up with the work we've already done, and it was over from there.
Bro, you doing amazing work, man. Thank you, number one, for the story. You talk about an epic story and how somebody got into cannabis. But right now, as far as with the delivery service you have, I feel like it's you're definitely a pioneer in the space. Yourself, shout out to my man, Devin out in Massachusetts with Rolling Relief too. There's so many people are now seeing this model and understanding this model is a viable thing. Speak to us about being one of the first to kind of just jump into this space on that side. And what have you learned trying to start this business?
Ooh, I want to first and foremost, I do want to appreciate the fact that I was first here in Jersey because it helped a lot because I got to learn the industry early. I got to meet the key players here in the state of New Jersey earlier. And like I said, there were 6 original companies here. We're up to about like 12 or 13 now with the new licensees that are set to come online as well. But it allowed me to not only because Jersey's industry was small, it allowed me to understand and learn where they are, how many customers that they had, medical marijuana patients that they had, what they were looking to do in the future, how they plan on expanding. But it also gave me the chance to introduce them to me on a full solidified scale. There's nobody else out here saying that they want to do delivery. Any room that we're in right now, there's people grabbing me now left and right. Oh, yo, you have to meet Tihyann Bryant. He wants to do delivery. He wants to do logistics. And being in so early in a state that was so many people with our industry was so small and close knit, it was I don't want to say easy because nothing was easy. This definitely was very fucking hard. But the rooms were so small. They were pretty light to navigate, right? And introductions became very the more work I put in introductions started getting higher and higher to the point where you can call a Patrick Johnson from Cure Leaf. You can text him in the middle of the night and he'll say what's up. You can speak to John Olahan from Verano, Kiera Airwords from Air Wellness. Like so as the room started getting smaller, and I guess maybe we were getting bigger. Like I guess that's what's happening at the same time because the same people are in the room. Like so, relationships were started to become easier to mend because there was no one else here talking about what we were talking about right now, and being the first person to introduce the concept. Like I still feel like I introduced that concept to New Jersey. Like not just the idea. Of course, they probably would think about it on a regulatory sense, but actually being somebody that introduced, okay, this is how we'll execute, this is how it will work. Never could take anything from that, and I just gotta be grateful that I was able to start when I did start, meet people like Leo Bridgewater as well, and everything started to just flow from that point, like just really flow.
Bro, congratulations, man. I love your story. It's very inspirational. And I'm glad that you actually are getting to the point where you're speaking more in public. Your story actually is a testimony. You could definitely help a lot of brothers who are trying to figure out if this is a lane for them, to give them a good example of, yeah, this is what something that could happen. I think you're doing a great job.
Appreciate that. And I think that's something I used to struggle on. Like I said, I wanted Precious to do it because I know her personality and people will always just really gravitate to her. But like like I said, speaking is just like it makes me nervous. But I do feel as though I definitely do need to do a lot more because I feel like people like you and me, black men, are very underrepresented when it comes to everything. And our female counterparts, black women, they're everywhere, and I feel as though we need to amplify our own voices as well. So
Yeah.
that's something I don't want to say I'm struggling with, but I'm starting to realize that yeah, like we need that stern, strong black voice to listen to as well.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate your time today. Before we get out of here, let people know how they can find you online, how they can learn more about Roll Up Life, and even follow you to see if they can follow your story.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Roll Up Life on Instagram is rollup.life. On Twitter, it's Roll Up Life Inc. Our website is rolluplife.com. And all of my social media, I'm lucky. I got like one of the craziest names, so I don't have to like look for no fancy anything. Everything is at Tihyann. Like that's it. Everything, every little detail about me is at Tihyann. If it's not at Tihyann, it's not me.
That's wild. That's wild. You're right. You got such a unique name. Nobody's biting this.
Yeah, nobody's biting that. So everything, every handle is at Tihyann for me.
Tihyann, I appreciate your time today, man. And I want you to be blessed. Hold on for a second, though.